Greetings and welcome to Stunthangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter, and I'll be your host this evening. I want to extend to you my gratitude for you watching Stunthangar Video Hangouts. If you're watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of this so you can watch or be part of the live stream. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunthangar Forum member to find the link to be part of the live stream and the following after party. Here at Stunthangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you've been doing lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunthangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench, which is right below in memory of our friends. If you're not a member, or if you're not logged into Stunthangar Forum, the At the Bench link will not appear. If you're not a member, please register at stunthangar.com/SMF. That's stunthangar.com/SMF. That's Smart Men Flying. That's courtesy of Jeff Riley. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address, or Sparky, the proprietor of Stunthangar, will not approve you. Now, if you're inclined to not come in, but just enjoy watching us on YouTube, wonderful, fantastic. You can enter your questions or comments in the chat box over here, and I'll do my best to make your comments or questions a part of the show. And understand, sometimes I can't get a word in myself, so be patient. I will ask our illustrious panel your question or state your comments. And by the way, you only can make comments or questions in the chat box during a live stream. So like I said, I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening, starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, if you find the Stunthangar Video Hangouts that I host, or the many building videos, Saturday at John videos, the contest coverage videos that Sparky does on this platform, informative and enjoyable, please hit the thumbs up, and subscribe. And when you subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell and select all so that whether myself or Sparky comes on, you'll be notified. Share the videos, comments on the videos. All these activities help the Stunthangar YouTube channel grow. Please consider joining Stunthangar's YouTube channel memberships, that blue button below. And our membership start at just $4.99 a month, which is less than 17 cents a day. And that's about the equivalent of buying a coffee at Starbucks. Just one of those once a month is the support we would like from everybody. And by the way, I'm a member myself, so I have the $4.99 come out of my own checking account. I don't miss, and I suspect you won't miss it either. Plus, you'll be supporting your hobby, your passion, and there's a lot to glean from. We have experts on all over the planet, as a matter of fact, and we have former national and former world champions in the show. So you can definitely get your questions answered by tuning in and just gleaning from all these greats that we have in our show. Now, if you want to get in touch with me, please go to my YouTube channel, which is called Flying Control Line Stunt. That's Flying Control Line Stunt. And if you locate the video called the 2019 AMA National Championship video, which is a video that Sparky shot with his video camera, me flying his beautiful Junar XL, and I'll receive a notification or I will be able to respond to you quickly, because that's my channel and I get notifications of comments and new subscribers all the time. But I don't check Sparky's channel because I'm only here just twice a week. I just start the show, I stream it to YouTube, and that's it. So if you want to get in touch with me, that's the best way. Now, I want to thank you for your past, your present, and future support. You are making it happen. Please keep the conversations family room friendly. In other words, please don't use words or do things you wouldn't say or do around your own children or grandchildren. And without any further ado, I'm now going to go to the YouTube, the Stunthangar Forum and I'm going to post a link. That's where the link is. I've had people ask me, how do I come in? And I explained to them the only one way to come in here is to, unless I know you personally, there's another way, but this is kind of how we do it. We just have you come in to the register to stunthangar.com/SMF, the Stunthangar form, and then there's a link posted underneath the thread called, or the section called At the Bench, and there'll be a thread. Matter of fact, there's a link there right now with today's date, and that's how you get in. So now let me go to the what I call the I call it the control panel. So just bear with me just a second here, and we will be cooking with gas shortly. All righty, we're just about there. Looks like Keith Trossel's making his way in here, which is fantastic. And all right, now I'm just about there at the control panel. Hey, Keith, how are you doing?
I'm fine, Charles. And you?
I'm doing good. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm just taking care of all the business end of this program here. You have my attention in just a second. Let me click this here. And let's see here. All right. Okay. All right. Great. Wonderful. Looks like we have Tom Rammel. He's already provided us with a like. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. And we have 8 concurrent viewers and 4 likes. So if you haven't hit the like button, please smash that. That helps the analytics of the show. And now we're up to 9. All right. So let me see. I'm trying to get this thing to give me the view. Here we go. Gallery view. Excellent. Fantastic. All right. So anyways, what you been up to, Keith?
Been putting paint on an airplane.
Oh, good.
I'll be done with the basic colors in another day or so.
So you've been painting both planes or just one
Well,
plane?
it's the big job, yeah.
So the Chiseler is all completed?
Yeah, Chiseler's ready to
trim?
go. It's got a new flap on it and just looking for some weather to be able to fly.
Wow, that's fantastic. Well, hopefully later on in the show, you can show us the Chiseler. I don't think I've seen it completed.
Yeah, it was in Las Vegas, yeah.
Yeah, but the one that was in Las Vegas, unfortunately, is no longer with us.
No, the Chiseler, it was new and I only flew it a couple times because it was out of trim and tried fixing the flap, and that's when I busted the flap.
Oh, so what plane am I thinking of? Was it the big job that crashed?
The big job I lost, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't know why I thought you was building a new Chiseler and a big job.
Yeah.
Let me welcome John Miller. Hey, John, how you doing?
I'm fine. Yourself?
Doing well. Doing very well. Thank you very much.
So I'm going to Tucson with a brand new airplane, not been flown. And the Chiseler, it's 5-6 months old now, but it's flown 3 times.
Wow.
Don't want to rush it, do you?
Yeah.
Just one second, you guys. I'll be right back. You guys hold the shop down. Just give me a second here.
Time's up.
Yeah.
How you doing, Keith?
I'm doing okay. How about you?
Not bad. Not bad. All considered.
Yeah. We're all getting old.
Yeah. Well, and I've been having trouble with my CAD program. It's just, then I thought I lost the whole thing. I had a couple of crashed the computer a couple of times trying to straighten it out. And I think I just got it loaded back in, so I'll check it a little bit to see if I can use it and if the problem that I was having is fixed.
I've never even tried to get up with that stuff.
Oh, it's logical. It's very logical. It's easy to do if you just think it out. You know, trouble is people jump in, they want to go right from at the very get-go right into full. You know, they may have done drafting manually and they figured, you know, they can just jump right into it. But there's some conventions that you have to learn. And you could do it. I know you could.
Still have to go to a print shop to get your plans drawn up, blown up. So
No, you can spend the money and buy you a good used plotter and do it at home. That's what I did.
Yeah. So can you do a 36-inch wide piece of paper on a homebrew plotter?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, you can, the thing is finding a source of good used ones. They're out there, but there are people. How you doing, Denny? There are people that specialize in that type of equipment, and once you find out who they are and how to reach them, you're in good shape. Walter Umland, we were able to find him, a fellow in California, and he bought his machine at a really good price, and the guy really backed it up well, and Walter's been using it ever since.
Let me welcome Mark Wise. I think Mark Wise came in next. Thank you, Mark, for coming in. Appreciate it.
Hi, guys.
And then
Hi,
Dennis Adamison, thank you for coming in. And Brad LaPointe, thank you for coming in. And Gary Sinclair, thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. And thank you for the like.
Recognize you without your lap cat. Oh.
Hey, Denny,
Which one?
I watched last video again to what you had for all your rules and everything. That's good. I like that.
Appreciate that. I apologize to Charles later on for taking up the last, hour and a half of his
Yeah,
of the
you were
chat.
bad. You were bad.
You were bad. Yeah.
Well,
I don't have the lap cat today.
I came
Wow.
on today just so Charles can mute me. All right. So
Oh,
Thank God.
or thank Charles anyway, huh?
Yeah. Any of you
Hey,
guys
very
get
good.
one of these boxes in the mail?
Oh, not yet.
I got
oh,
mine.
yeah.
You got yours, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. So what do you think?
I think it's going to be fine.
Let me see it. Can you show it to me?
It needs a little trimming,
A little flashing on it.
but no big deal. It's very well packed. There you go.
Wow.
Okay, so it's kind of hard to. Let me find out where this is. There it is.
Oh, very good. Oh, that's cool.
Okay. Nice and light. And mine had a little note in there from the gentleman who said he'd appreciate it if I'd send him via PayPal $10 Canadian, which I did. So just look for that little note in yours, maybe.
Okay.
My
But
God,
thank
where'd you find
guys,
a
whoever-
Canadian? I thought you might send him a Confederate $10 or something like that, but I don't know. Canadian?
No.
Oh.
No, I'd asked him if he'd be the president of Pampa. And that was the last I heard from him.
Yeah, that's it. And he said, "Don't send me any money. Don't send money. Just go." Yeah, okay,
That's
I
it.
got you.
Just go away.
Hey, Brad. There, now I recognize you. There we go.
There we go.
And welcome, Paul Taylor. Thank you, Paul, for coming in.
Hey guys.
Hey,
Is anybody doing any building? I know Keith's been doing some painting on his big job. Anybody been working in a shop or flying? I went flying today with Carl. Carl should be joining us shortly. What do you got there, Dennis?
Oh, he's got that.
Remember I
that
told you
wing.
I was working on a wing, but I couldn't tell you what I was working on?
Wow. A
Well, I
velvet,
had to
huh?
wait. That's because I wanted to wait to get it to this step. This is my flying buddy, Wesley Dick, has been on my case for better part of 10 years to build one of his velvets. And I finally decided that it was time.
Wow.
There it is. That's got the double slotted flap arrangement. And I did some things different. Of course I did.
Of course.
One of the things that I really prefer partial span flaps over full span flaps. So
Right.
that's a difference. And then Wes designed it with a 1-inch longer inboard wing, and I made mine equal span. So other than that, let's see. I don't know if, oh yeah, this also has something I've never done before.
Over under?
Has over under. I've done the over under before, but they weren't adjustable.
Oh, wow.
And
Neat.
this is also the airplane. I think I showed off outside of the wing. I showed I was working on Spectre lead outs, and here they are. So
Wow, very nice. Color coded, very nice.
that's it. Green side up. Just like when the landscaper comes by and is putting down new sod, you go out and yell at him, hey, make sure green side up, right? So,
Yeah.
so anyhow,
Very nice.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
coming along. It's not too heavy or anything like that. It's really a good design. Let's it's a really good airfoil on it. It's easy to build and everything like that. And the
What's
flaps
the advantage of those
are so
flaps?
different. I have, they're so foreign to me. It's
Yeah.
been very, very deliberate progress, shall we say, trying to one step at a time and thinking through every step and everything like that. But I'm pretty happy with how it's coming along though.
So with Wesley Dix, does he have a seal the control surfaces?
Mhm.
They're sealed. He uses tape.
He does not, well, on the double slotted flap, he doesn't. Actually, one of the drivers on this is he apparently built an airplane and taped up the hinge lines on it and was underwhelmed with the results. And so he started looking at what else he could do to make, controls more effective. And he come on the idea of, full scale aviation uses double slotted or even triple slotted flaps. And he worked out a mechanism for the double slot. What makes his really special, of course, full size aviation flaps all work in one direction and they kind of roll on out and everything like that.
Yeah.
And so what's unique about his is that it works both ways. So the slat flap moves half as far as the main flap.
Yeah.
And then it has a slot in there to pick up more lift, generate more lift. So I have flown one of his Velvets without or with a simple flap, and then I flew his Velvet 5 recently with last summer with the other flap, and it seemed to fly better. I think the one that really put me over the top, though, of course, John Paris has been flying one for a couple of years and his flies very well. My friend Larry Fruits has one, and he did the ultimate. He built a set of simple flaps, flew the airplane with that, got it all trimmed out, thought it really flew well. And then he put the double slotted flap on it, and he said it wasn't so much cornering better, but it just seemed to maintain speed out of the corners better than the other, like it was flying with less drag. And he thinks the airplane flies, noticeably better with the double slot than it did with the single, or with the plain flap.
Wow, interesting.
So I'm going to try it. I suppose if all else fails, I'll just tape over all those gaps. But anyhow.
Interesting. Let me welcome Lynn Burrell. Thank you for coming in, Lynn.
Hey, guys.
And let me
Hello.
welcome Mark.
Hello.
Thank you, Mark, for coming in. Appreciate it.
Hi, everybody.
Mark.
Hey, Lan, do you have the
Mhm.
lightest Strega wingtips in all of Ontario now? Or
No, not a hope in hell. This thing's gonna be it's a real lumber wagon.
Mhm. Well, were you able to lighten up the wingtips like you were
I
talking about?
I lightened up the inboard tip. I took it off and took everything out of it I could. And when I was finished with that, it was still heavier on the inboard than the outboard. So I didn't bother pulling anything out of the outboard. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, just curious, how much did
I-
you take out of the inboard?
How much did I take out of the inboard? About an ounce.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, about an ounce. So I carved the dickens out of it. And it's funny because with the lead outs, the inboard is still heavier than the outboard. Now, I mean, I haven't got any tip weight in it at all. So I
Mhm.
thought, you know what, it's kind of silly to pull this tip off, this other tip off. They're like, what am I doing now? I mean, I'll end up having to put a pound in the outboard tip or something. So it's silly.
Well, yeah, it is crazy.
And I
'cause,
took 12 ribs out of it too, 6 out of each side.
Wow,
okay.
nice.
And was there a good payoff for that?
Half ounce each side.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah,
That's
half
more than I
ounce
would
out
have
of each
thought.
side of the, yeah, half ounce out of each side. I mean, the lumber in this thing is like pine. It's so bloody hard and heavy.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
don't
pretty
know.
heavy airplane.
Compared to most Stregas, that thing's gonna just float away on you, so.
I don't know. I'm hoping still to keep it under 70 ounces, but by how much, I don't know. I mean, the wing I'll have to go get my numbers. Hang on, I'll be back. I've got
All right.
numbers on a sheet. Just a sec.
Thank you. Welcome, Bob. How you doing? Bob Hunt's in the house.
You guys talking? You're talking about a Strega?
Yes, not mine. We're talking about Lynn's Strega.
I think it's impressive to see that much balsa wood in the air at one time.
Yes,
Mhm.
it is. It is. It's a very macho plane, I think. It's a
The
very
only thing
macho
bigger is
plane.
one of those windmills.
Yeah, and maybe the sweeper. That's about it.
Mhm.
It's a big plane. But mine never pulled my arm off. People think a big plane's going to pull your arm off. Mine was very,
Well, you got a big arm.
yeah, that's true. That's true. But it was trimmed that it didn't pull very hard. It was very comfortable. I could fly it, quite a
I
bit.
flew one once, and this is what happened.
Mhm. Mhm.
I thought you flew Gordy's twin.
Hey, Bob, did you get my email?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'll take care of it. I've been working on my Caprice, trying to get it ready for VSC. So everything else has kind of taken a back seat for a while.
Hey, no worries.
Mhm.
Hey, Lynn, you know what?
Yes.
You and I was suffering with that video thing, and I uninstalled my my Zoom client and then reinstalled it, and I haven't had a problem since.
Okay.
I know that you might need some help.
Yeah, I'll have to
But,
get Naomi to do that. Okay.
Yeah, but it's just that worked, and maybe yours will go away because
I'll
mine
try
would have done it by
that.
now. Yeah,
I'll
just
try that.
uninstall the Zoom and then re-download it, and should be golden.
Right on.
Let me see this wing here.
So as you can see here, I don't know if you can see from the right reflection. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. I don't know if you can get this. But anyway, I took out 6 ribs on every other rib I took out up to where the landing gear
All right.
attaches. So I've taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of this side, 6 out of the other side. So the wing now with the flaps and the horn is, the flaps are all covered as well, but they're not attached yet. So wing, flaps, and horn covered 24.5 ounces. That's pretty heavy. The stab elevator and horn are also covered, and they're 4.8 ounces for a grand total of 29 almost 30 ounces. And I haven't even talked about the fuselage yet.
Yeah, it's a heavy plane.
So it's 30 ounces almost with no fuselage and not talking about any equipment that goes in it. So I'm looking at a 65 to 70 ounce airplane easily.
Yeah, and it's a 740 square inch wing, I think, right?
Yeah. Full size Strega wing.
Yeah, so that's a big wing. Now, did you notice any difference in the rigidity or twisting?
No,
When you took out the 6?
There's no twist in this wing at all. It's bullet hard. There's no way
great.
that wing's ever gonna go anywhere. It's hard. Like it's like built out of. It's like it's got concrete sheeting and rebar spars. It's like ridiculous.
Well, no wonder it's so heavy.
But anyway, I'm having fun. What the heck? We'll see what it does. It'll have a Rojet 76 in it. It'll go anyway, no matter what. There'll be enough.
Oh yeah,
power.
you'll have plenty of power.
It'll have power.
Remember way back when I converted a Strega to electric.
Right.
And I remember I was amazed. I'm taking these pieces out of the box and I'm thinking, geez, there's a lot of airplane here. The airplane parts out of the box weighed 56 ounces with no power. And it's just the airplane parts sitting on the scale was 56 ounces.
And that was an
It's
ARF,
already
right?
heavier than any airplane I'd ever built. All right.
That was an ARF?
An ARF, yeah.
Yeah, see, this is an ARC, so I've been able to clear a lot of stuff out of it, but boy,
Yeah.
oh boy.
Yeah, that mine with the ready to go, that thing weighed 80 ounces. So
Holy mo.
yeah.
Wow, but it's got a lot of wing, I'll tell you that. This wing.
Yeah. It actually I was surprised at how well it flew.
But
I
it's nice
just
and
wasn't
blunt
expecting
now
it.
anyway. It's not pointy anymore now that I took
Yeah.
the leading edge off, put a new leading edge on.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
it should
Yeah, I
fly
think that's
okay.
gonna help.
It can't
You're gonna
hurt.
like that. Have you ever had a Strega before?
No, I've never even flown one.
Okay.
I've never flown one, so we'll see how that goes. I get to feel like Windy for a day or two.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
Charles comes out east. You can lend him an airplane. And he's going to feel right at
Right
home.
home.
won't
You
Right?
know it for sure.
Absolutely. You know, there's a listener, her name is Bill Cox. And I want to apologize to you, Bill. I hope you're listening.
Bill or
I
Brian?
No, I think it
Bill
was
Cox or
Bill.
Brian? Okay.
I think it's Bill. And he had questions regarding the Strega, my Strega, because we and I was talking about Stregas. And
Okay.
I've been meaning to, this is for you, Bill. I've been meaning to get to my flight log. I haven't flown the Strega in over a year. It's in storage, and it's kind of retired. So the questions you asked me, I needed to go back to my flight log. That plane has been in various different trim. I did a lot of experimentation, so I had to refresh my memory how it was set up at one time or another to answer your questions. So I'll get back to you. Just been a busy week. So that's for Bill. Thank you. Hope you're listening, Bill. And Carl's in the house. Hey, Carl, you're in here twice. I can't hear you. I see your lips are moving. Now you're muted, Carl. Okay, try it again.
Can you do that to Dennis?
Carl, I can't hear you. I don't know what's wrong, buddy.
Okay, how about now?
Oh, now I hear you. Yeah.
Okay. No, every now and then the laptop kicks me out for whatever the reason, so I have to back out of it, start over, and reboot it.
Okay. I understand. So, anybody else do any flying or do anything in the shop interesting you want to share with us?
I do something in the shop.
What's that?
Well, I'll show you.
Make you big. While you're
There you go.
Whoa.
wow, that looks nice.
That's 20. Right now, as it sits right now, it's 25 ounces.
Woo! And that's like a wing.
You've been busy, Bob.
That's why I haven't been answering emails or sending out videos or doing anything.
That's
That
the
looks
same.
really nice.
That's only an ounce over the weight of my wing.
I wasn't going to say that, Len, but
That's
now that you
unbelievable.
mention it,
Oh my goodness.
yeah, the spinner is just taped on. The motor's not in right now.
That's
I just
beautiful.
started sanding and buffing. This was right after I got back from Joel Costantino's, where I shot the Clear up there, and brought it home and just assembled it to do some hanger flying. That was yesterday, and then I started buffing it, sanding and buffing today.
That's beautiful.
Oh, that is really nice looking.
Wow, how do you get them so light?
I have pretty good wood, you know.
It's-
Are you bragging?
Huh?
I said, are you
That's
bragging?
Robbie- That's Robbie's inheritance.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
Robbie's inheritance.
That is really nice, Bob.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Good job, Bob.
Thanks.
Wow.
I got the flaps and elevators all sanded and buffed, and I went to put the hinges in, but I opened up my canopy glue and it was really thick. So I put a little water in it, then it got really thin. So I threw that out. I'm gonna go get some more canopy glue tomorrow. I really like canopy glue for putting in hinges.
I'm gonna have to try that stuff.
It works great. I put a little test piece together some years ago. The only caveat is you got to make sure you stir up all the good stuff out of the bottom of the jar. You can't just
Okay.
take it and use it. You got to stir up the good stuff.
The
Make sure
pigment,
it's in
yeah.
solution. And I put one together some years ago, a little test piece. I took a piece of 1/4-inch balsa, 2 pieces, and I put a hinge in and let it dry for 2 days, and then tried to pull it apart. And I broke the hinge at the barrel.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a pretty good glue joint.
Yeah.
Did you scuff the hinges? Do you scuff your hinges?
I usually scuff them a little bit to get the clean them, get the mold release off of them, and
Yeah.
I put a little dot of 3-in-1 oil on the hinge pin and make sure you can see it, because I use a transparent Great Plains hinges, and I found a supplier and I got hundreds of them, and you can then work the hinge barrel. It doesn't move very much, but it moves maybe a 64th of an inch at the most, and you can move it up and down. You can see the oil go
Running down, yeah.
all
okay.
up the pin. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
cool. Okay,
mhm.
that makes sense.
And they got little reverse saw teeth in them. So when you put the glue in there and it goes into these little reverse saw teeth, when it cures, it can't come out. I mean, there's no possible way.
Awesome.
Very good. Let me welcome some new people. I see Mark, you raised your hand. Just 1 second. Stuart, thank you for coming in, Stuart. And Gordon Delaney, thank you for coming in. And Frank Donnelly, thank you for coming in. Yes, from company with you, Frank. Who's that?
I have Dan Banjock here with me tonight.
Hey, Dan Banjock.
Hey,
Hey, boy.
Boy,
Holy moly.
hey, fantastic. Dan, let me make it big so people can see you. That's awesome. I've been talking to Dan for some time, right, Dan? Trying to get you to come into the show. Remember we talked a while back?
Yeah, yep.
Very
Danny,
good.
you're not
awesome.
wearing a red t-shirt and a hat. I had no
Yeah,
idea
where-
it was you.
Yeah, where's the shirt and the hat?
I'll go get my hat.
People will recognize you.
Cover that gray hair.
Yeah, if you would have had a hat, I wouldn't have said, who's that next to you, Frank?
He went up to get it.
That's hilarious.
All right, now do you recognize him?
Oh, now I
Now we
recognize
know
him.
it.
Yeah.
That's better.
Better.
Yeah, you got your Philly Flyers hat. There we go. Yeah,
Yeah.
I recognize you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I met you at Rodak this summer, or last summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hey, Danny.
Hey, Bob. Howdy all.
Hey,
What
Frank,
you guys
thanks for
been
the
up to?
transcription again. That's great. A little time to
Oh, yeah.
translate.
No
Yeah.
problem. That was pretty good stuff you had last week with the whole old time stunt updates.
Mhm. Thanks. Been working on it. I've been
Good job.
been apologizing to Charles for taking up all of his chat, and Mark insists that he mute me, and so far he hasn't, but I'm waiting. So
I did have a question for it if now's the appropriate time. But just the level of flight thing, right? So it was stipulated that it was between 6 to 10 feet, 4 to 10 feet,
yes,
4 to 10 feet,
6 to
But-
10. Yeah.
6 to 10, 6 to 10. But you want to try and maintain like a 2-foot variance when flying to get the right score. So my question is, it's my choice then. I can decide I can fly at 6 or 10 or 8, but probably if I flew at 6, I'd score better than I flew at 10. I just think the judges would be biased and say that plane's too high.
Mhm. I have no idea how the judges will call it. I lean that way. Put it this way, on the AMA pattern, when you said 4 to 6 feet, I thought anybody who flew at 4 feet was flying better than somebody flying at 6 feet.
Right.
All right.
Same thing applies.
Of course, they never asked me to judge very much then either. So
So you got a hat on, Mark.
I do. I want Danny to feel comfortable here.
all
Philly
right.
Flyers hat.
That's
Very
a
nice.
new one. You got a
Wait a
new
minute.
one.
I didn't know those hats became new. I thought they all had 100 years on them before they let anybody have them.
It's too new looking,
Wow,
I'm,
look
I'm
at
a
the
dude-
I'm a member of the club.
That's a rookie hat.
Look at the shine.
You're
of
not
that
till you
one.
run over the hat with your truck a half a dozen times or something.
Mark's hat has almost as much shine as Bob's airplane.
Mm.
Yeah, just spray some castor oil on it or something.
Pretty good.
I'm just trying to add a little class to Pampa. That's all I'm doing.
That's
Let me
about as
welcome,
little as possible. Okay.
We welcome Philip Bailey. Thanks for coming in for Philip. Appreciate it.
Stuart,
Now
Danny,
we're up
just,
to-
Danny, just in case you're not used to this, you come in here for a little fun and fellowship, and what you get is made fun of and talked down to. So
oh,
welcome to the group.
yeah. No worries.
He'll be nice to you tonight, but after that, all bets are off.
Let me catch up on the chat box. Old control line pilot, that's Bob Whitley up in Canada. He's also a member, just like Gary Sinclair. I can tell by the moniker next to his name. And Bob Whitley goes on to say, like Given, feeling rather ill tonight. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Bob. And hopefully join you Monday. Communicated with Brian Gardner today, and he's hoping to get the ST60 pin and liner sets in production very soon. So that's good news if you want to get a piston and liner for your Super Tiger 60. And Brent Williams says, what's the ready to fly goal weight of the Caprice, Bob?
He's gone.
I think he left
Oh,
for a while.
I'm talking to the chair. All right.
Yeah, you're talking to the chair.
Okay. I just saw the gallery. I didn't see anybody particular. So we'll get back to that, Brent. And then Dennis B, he says, how much time did Bob spend sanding and polishing? Not 400 hours, I hope. So that, again, we'll answer that question when Bob returns.
Hey, Gordy, how you feeling?
Well, other than my bad shoulder, I'm feeling pretty good.
Well, that's good news. So your swelling's gone way down, huh?
Yeah, it's not all the way down, but it's pretty darn close.
Good.
Oh, that's good. No, that's good news, Gordon. I'm really glad to hear that.
Yeah. So with my right shoulder, that's the arm I use for sanding all the time. And I'm to the point I'm ready to start sanding out the Pines 57. You know, I've got my clear coat on it and some gray paint on it. And that's going to be my guide coat to sand down to the clear. You know, so I don't sand into the covering or anything. You know, polyspan, you don't want to get into that polyspan at all. It makes it a mess.
Right.
Guys, just to join the club here.
Oh, very
All
good.
right.
Very good. Let me make you big for a second. And Bob, there's a couple questions for you from our chat audience.
Gotta go get mine. Yeah.
So there's Bob's hat. And his hat looks like he has flown a little bit.
Looks like he ran out in the backyard and rubbed it in the dirt. Bob.
So Bob, there's a question from Brent Williams, and there's a question from Dennis. So Brent Williams' question was, what is the goal for the weight for the Caprice ready to fly?
Well, with the battery on board, I'm hoping to hit about 45 or 46.
Wow, nice. And Dennis B, he asked, how much time have you spent sanding and polishing? He hopes not 400 hours.
Today, you mean?
No, just in general, as far as sanding and polishing. You know, some people say they spend, you know.
Oh, I'm not Sparky, that's for sure. I don't know. It usually takes me a couple of days to wet sand it and then buff it. I buff it by hand. I don't machine buff. I buff by hand. And Joel Costantino gave me some 5,000 grit sanding pad, and you go from like 2,000 or 1,500, and then you go to this 5,000, and it almost polishes the airplane. It almost looks like it's buffed out, and then very little bit of rubbing, and it brings it right up.
Wow.
So, I'm sure I always shoot for 18 points, not 20 points, because people put 20-point finishes on. They rarely, if ever, fly them when it really counts. And they're afraid to get dings and dents in them. And I figure I could catch them on takeoff. So, you know.
That's true. I mean, you have 15 maneuvers to make up that 2-point deficit.
Yeah, you know, and if you do all the free maneuvers really well, take off, landing, inverted flight, and all that stuff, you can usually make it up. And you know, I'd rather go out and practice more with the airplane than buff more. So I mean, I get them so they look presentable. You know.
I don't think I've ever seen one of Bobby's airplanes that didn't look very presentable.
Well, I think, you know, I've been on the front row a couple of times at the Nats, to my great surprise. I've had a couple of 19-point airplanes, but basically I shoot for an 18-point airplane. You know, that's what I hope to get, no less than that. Yeah. So, you know, I don't put a whole lot.
What'd you get for the Saturn?
What I get for the Saturn?
The second Saturn, the red, white, and blue one.
Oh, I think I got 18.
I thought that was the prettiest one, I think. I've seen a lot of pretty airplanes out of Bob. The prettiest one, I think, was the Saturn. That thing was just the paint job just fit the airframe. Ooh.
Yeah, I kind of stole that paint job from Werwich. You know, we had a little team thing going. He had the two Geo XLs, and then Robbie had the Geo Star, and I felt left out, so I put the exact same paint scheme on mine. I have that
Look
picture.
good.
Have that. I'll see if I can find that picture.
Hey,
That'd be
Bob,
great.
Yo,
because I care so much about you, when you go for appearance judging, you can
Mhm.
borrow my hat.
oh, yeah, a newer hat. Yeah. I don't know. These old hats seem to have a lot of character to them.
Well,
Oh, so Mark, you're under the impression that they judge your appearance. Oh, they actually judge the plane, just in case you know.
Oh, now I understand why I only get 18.
Now I know why I only get 14.
And what I told you about fun, never mind. Oh, bad.
yeah, last year I was halfway done the appearance judging before I saw an airplane. You know, I just looked at the guys, you know, and,
Oh, Lord.
man, look at this guy. Backward.
Mark, I should be grateful then.
Hey, Charles, uh-oh. Oh, there we go.
Wow, it is.
Wow.
It's sort of like a team thing we had going that year.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very nice looking planes. Wow.
I was taken at 111 Jacqueline Drive in Berea, Ohio. If anybody knows what I'm sure Dennis knows the significance of that.
Is that Billy's house?
That's Billy's house, his mother's house, where he used to keep all his airplanes. Yeah. So,
Wow.
The man in his
Very
museum.
nice. Very, very nice. Go ahead, Mark. Get your hands waved
Thanks.
earlier digitally.
Let me get my serious stuff out of the way.
Len, I got a hat.
All right. Tell Brad. That's Brad. Brad's the guy for that.
Uh-huh.
I've been spending my time more than I'd care to, but it's going okay toward the 50th anniversary of Pampa at the Nats. I think I've mentioned to you that the dinner Sunday night is going to be at Ball State. Got the menu going, got the price going. Pampa is going to subsidize it so people don't have to pay a lot. And we came up with a $25 fee for a person for a full dinner. And being catered at that place, I think that's a pretty good deal.
yeah.
It's more than that, but we're gonna cover the rest. I've been working with John Paris, and it looks like we're going to do the pilots meeting and the appearance judging at Ball State, same building. So it's going to be a busy Sunday, but it should be a great Sunday. We're going to put on the website as soon as I can get the wording right. You can buy a ticket for the banquet on our website as if you were going in to pay for your dues. I think the banquet's going to sell out. I really do. We got a nice evening planned, but not just what I'm doing, but what Keith has done for the Hall of Fame, and it's just going to be a terrific evening. So please get your reservations in as soon as we have it up on the site. And these two things are maybe a little more important. I got an email from two emails from AMA. And those of you who attend the Nats, particularly last year, will be familiar with this. They've come out with a new manual really on how to run the Nats and position of different people and what their job title is. Anyway, there's a new position called the Event Support Specialist. And for this year, it's a 7-day assignment, 7 or 8, July 8th through July 14th. And it's what Brenda Schutte has been doing in the past. Basically, you get a golf cart and you run around to the different SIGs that are operating at the Nats during that week and just see if there's any help they need between the event director and AMA headquarters. What they've done this year is that they're putting it's an open position now. And anyone who gets recommended, they'll be reviewed by AMA, by Tony Stillman particularly. So I got a note saying, hey, Mark, we need some names if you want to have one of your guys, responsible for that position. One of the neat things about it is they pay for your hotel for every day you're there. They pay $60 a day for your food, and they'll pay for your travel. So if you want to see the Nats and get to know all the disciplines and what's going on, it's a heck of a deal. It's the 8th through the 14th. It's basically the same day as we're there for control line stunt. I've gotten one name. If you are interested or if someone you know, please get me their name.
Wow, only one? Surprising.
Okay. So it's a good deal. If no names are submitted, then it's going to be the person who's been doing it all along. Okay. So I'm putting that out. I have notices on Stunthangar all over the place, and I sent one to each of the district directors. Paul Walker got back to me with a good name, and I need to contact that gentleman and see if he'll do it. So I just want you to be aware of that. And for those of you, I know Howard did. Howard's my favorite guy in the world right now, because maybe an hour and a half ago, I sent everyone on here plus others an email asking them to send me back a list of where they get their supplies from, whatever it is. And I put them in maybe 10 categories. So it may not be important to put where you get your tight bond, because everyone probably knows that. But maybe where do you get your contest balls? So where do you get everything that we do in this hobby? Where do you get your lines? Where do you get your clips? Where do you get your ball links? Where do you get your carbon fiber? Where do you get your contest balsa? And it wasn't 45 minutes later, and I got this beautiful response from Howard with maybe 12 different names in every website, all the contact information. So you can imagine that if we get enough responses, we're going to put out a directory, because it's getting harder and harder to find stuff. From last week's meeting, I got a call from a guy who was listening in, and he said, I knew where to get glow fuel. And he said, would you share it with me? And I did. And I told him where to get glow fuel. So, if you're trying to recruit and people can't find supplies, that's a problem.
Well,
So
I'd like to find a place where I can buy some foam wings.
there you go.
Nice.
Well, I hope you can find it.
Yep, I know a guy that makes them or used to make them.
Used
Yep.
to make them, yeah.
So if this is one of those things that Chad Boudreau asked me, he said, those are the kind of things I should be doing at AMA. Would you share that with us? And I don't have a problem doing that as long as others participate, as long as the combat guys do, the RC guys. You just never know who's finding what where.
It's true.
I got a note today that was important to me from Tom Smelter, a good friend, who said, hey, go on the Dubrow website, because their hinges that I use and we all use around here are on sale. And that was just a nice thing to know.
Yeah.
And it's the Great Plains hinges. That's what they were selling at about $2 off for a pack of 15, which is a good deal. So you have one of those emails, and if you just come up with 2 names, I'll take them. I'm doing the same thing. I'm filling out my sheet.
Right.
But I thought this would be a good group because we connect with one another. We see one another. So check that email if you would. I'm sure I left out some categories. You'll think of them and I didn't.
Hey, Mark,
Yeah.
are you wanting some stuff for electrical planes as well?
Oh, absolutely. There are about 12 categories on there.
Okay.
And I've separated glow from electric. But what I forgot to put in there, of course, was glow fuel. So I have to add that. But it's fairly complete. I mean, there are some things that are going to be harder to find than others. And I know we know Brodak and we know certain places. But there's a lot of stuff people have trouble finding. So that when you look at the list, if you could fill out as much as you're comfortable doing, it's just going to help everybody. It's the first question. I don't know. We always get a triple tree. Where do I get this stuff? You know, who do I talk to and where do I get it? And this year, what I'm doing at Triple Tree and at Brodak is to give anyone who's there who's not already in the hobby the name of their district director at Pampa. Say, here's the first place, you know, and I use what Bob has been saying for years, each one teach one. And I think I want to modify that just a little bit for Pampa to say, reach one and teach one. Reach out and find someone and teach them how to fly. And then we have a pilot. So, you know, I can't encourage people to join Pampa when they say, I can't find anything. And that's what they're going to say. They got to look for hobby shops and the guy carries plastics and cars.
Yeah.
You know, what do we do? So I'd appreciate all the cooperation I can get. I think we're at a great position to grow again. We're growing already this year. And, you know, the more money we get, the better things we can do. So I think you really like the banquet. 3 choices of the main course. And it's going to be a nice but casual event. You don't have to get dressed up. You don't have to wear a hat like mine. You can wear one like Bob's or even our visitor over there with Frank. So the big things for me, if you want to help with the Nats, help me find a name. A person who's willing to go out there. They don't have to know about all the disciplines. They just have to be a nice person, you know, who could probably spend most of their time at the LPAD, but they have to run around and see what everyone else needs. And it's a paid for trip.
They probably should know a little bit about each discipline.
Well, you should. I'm not going to recommend someone who's never been a modeler in any sense.
Right.
That would be difficult. The name I got is someone who's who's been manager of the world teams. You know, that's pretty good. The only downside is if you're a pilot, you won't be able to fly because you won't have time because you need to be moving around. But it's a good gig. I think AMA is doing a nice job on this, and they have someone in case we don't or combat doesn't. And I just don't want to rely on the other special interest group to come up with a name. So that's my help. Charles, thank you. I just wanted to get the serious stuff out of the way.
Appreciate that. If I could have our audience give us a like. We've had as many as let me see here. It's like almost 30 people. We have 15 likes. So if you have not hit the like button, it won't cost you a penny. Just give us a like. If you don't like the show, you can give us a unlike. Either way, it still helps us. But no activity is a detriment. So please hit that like button and maybe even consider joining our YouTube channel. It's just $4.99 a month. Or if you want to do something without a subscription, hit the super chat. You can donate any amount you like. Thank you very much. Frank, you have a question? Frank, go ahead.
No, that was just a like.
You gave me a thumbs up in the inside the gallery.
Yeah, I know.
Very good. Very good.
Mark, perhaps we ought to put on that list of suppliers where you can get these red hats.
Well, they cost $50.
Mine didn't. It was free.
Well, they gave me one and then I felt guilty, so I joined.
I didn't feel like guilty.
That was good. Want to ask about the plane?
Yeah.
So we got a question here. Maybe you guys know.
Yeah.
Dan's looking for plans for Misbehave, and we haven't been able to find them.
Wow.
Anybody ever hear of it?
Johnny Casburn.
Yep.
Johnny Casburn.
Johnny Casburn, yeah.
54-inch span.
I think if you can't find one, if you get hold of Pete Peterson, I think he might still have
he built one some years back for VSC.
Have
He
you
might
just tried
still have
AMA
the one.
plan service?
We found a link there, but it was for a older one, right? It was for, was that a
Yeah.
half A or was it a
Half A or 15.
15
Yeah, I
size?
think part of the problem, I think Casburn put that name on about a half a dozen airplanes. I think that's part of the problem. So, okay. And which one are you looking for? There was I guess the last one I remember was a stunt plane. Oh, I don't know. I think it was probably a classic size stunt plane. Is that the one you're looking for?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, 54-inch wingspan.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Did you guys see? I saw it on Yahoo, I think, that Clarence Lee and his wife passed away.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, he was 96. She was 90 in her mid 90s, and it was an accident at home. They didn't have the details. I don't know if it was a fire. But he's been around a long time.
wow.
One of the engine pioneers, I guess. But they both died very recently, within a week of each other.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
This is the one that
Too
would
bad.
do the what do you call that when you fix the threads? Is that the same guy?
He would, if I remember right, he would work on KMBs. What else did he work on? Vicos, maybe?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Very
the Lee
reasonably
Vico- the Lee
priced.
Vico 19 was an engine he helped develop.
There you go.
And yeah,
Been around a long
I
time.
think he did do helicoils for glow plug repairs, but I think a lot
Oh,
of
thank you. That's
other
what I
people were
thought.
doing that. Is that what you meant, Charles?
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
I don't know if it was ever mentioned on here on Stunthangar, but did any of you guys know Matt Pietkowski outside of our group here in Canada? He posted a lot on Stunthangar.
I've seen a
the
bunch.
open
For
forum.
the name, yeah.
Yeah, he passed away just around Christmas time.
Really?
Unfortunately, yes, he did.
He was a real active poster the last year.
Yeah, he was
so.
very active, and yeah, he ended up getting cancer and he passed away, unfortunately.
geez.
Going back to that Clarence Lee thing for a minute, you know, as everybody here probably knows, there were two famous engine people with the last name Lee. It was Glenn Lee and Clarence Lee.
Hmm.
They were both very good engine men, you know, and very noted engine men. So they're both gone now.
I knew two Lee brothers. One was ugly and the other one was homely.
Oh my gosh.
Just an old.
I've never heard that before, Mark.
Charles, can I mute him?
Yes, you can. I'll tell you
I'd
what.
like to return the favor. All right.
Turn in your hat.
Then there was the one that wasn't very good at competition, lastly.
Jesus Christ.
Well, since we're on this Lee kick, Todd Lee called me yesterday, and he had a short layover in Salt Lake yesterday, but he couldn't come out.
Oh wow.
He had a cold or something. He didn't sound real good, and so he was going to stay in the motel and rest because he had a flight from Salt Lake to Florida. So he's trying to get some rest before he had to leave. A lot of times, if he has an overnighter, he'll come out and stay with us instead of getting a hotel room. And very enjoyable, nice young man to visit with.
Heck of a flyer too.
Yep, good flyer. Excellent flyer. So,
This old man ain't too bad either.
yeah, I
Oh,
talked
Jim.
to him yesterday.
You talked, Jim?
I talked to Jim yesterday too.
Oh, okay.
Apparently Todd couldn't get a hold of me, and so he called Jim Rhodes. Jim Rhodes called me. So then I called Jim Lee, and he says, well, I got Todd on the line. So I gave my home phone number instead of my cell phone. because I don't always have my cell phone. If I'm upstairs, it's downstairs. If I'm downstairs, it's upstairs. And so a lot of times I don't look to see who had called.
Yeah.
But my home, I hear it ring. So anyway, we finally hooked up yesterday.
Yeah, I got tickled at a contest a few years back in Huntersville. The Lees were there, and they're flying these gorgeous airplanes, and they still got Fox 35s in them.
Yep.
But these Fox 35s don't run like your garden variety Fox 35s. These things run like clocks. They were just purred the whole weekend. Made plenty of power. I don't know how they do it, but they're engine people. They can do that stuff. That's one of the beauties of switching to electric, guys. You don't have to worry with all that crap. I can't make it work. I know Gordon can. I've seen Gordon's engines run, and they run as good as any I've seen. And I know there have been some really good engine guys. I've got engines from Silver Fox and Tom Lay and a few other people that I wouldn't sell for nothing, because even though I don't fly them anymore, I just love them. But I've never been talented at making an engine run. I throw an extra head gasket in it, but that's about the limit of my motor knowledge. But some of these guys can really make them purr, and the Lees can.
Yeah, I'll tell you a funny story there. When the first AA and OS 40 came out, I got the first one in Salt Lake, and I put it in one of my Skylark profiles.
Mhm.
One of the guys was talking to Tom Lay about the engines, saw their junk engines, and I happened to be flying at the time. And the guy says, well, listen to Gordy's, that's a FP40 in there, and he saw you can't count Gordy, he makes them all run. I thought that was a nice compliment come from Tom.
Hey,
Yeah,
I got one of Gordy's FP40s of this plane here, and it has always ran well.
Yeah.
Remember that
Yeah,
engine, Gordy?
Pardon?
Remember that engine that's in the 40 here? This one?
Did I work on that one?
Oh yeah, you did.
I've done a lot, so at my age, I can't remember what I did this morning, John.
I understand. I'm right there with you.
You got another month to go.
Oh, that's
You're in May, aren't you?
this is our standing joke. He's the old man because he's 2 months older than me.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Let me welcome Howard Rush. Hey, thanks for coming in, Howard. Appreciate it.
He's actually one of those other league guys. He's forgetfully.
Oh, who is?
That's quite a family, isn't it, them league guys?
Turn of my hat.
Oh, me. Oh, man.
And Howard, by the way, Howard, Mark thinks you're fantastic. You're one of his favorite people right now.
Oh.
You responded to his email and provided.
Didn't you?
I haven't even checked my email today. I've been out of the house. I just started streaming the show.
I'll do it in the morning. Take care of it in the morning.
Howard, thank you again.
You're welcome.
Well, while we're on the thank yous, Frank, I got the text and looked it all up. I'm going to order a couple of them. Thank you for sending that to me, because I never would have found it.
Oh, okay. Did you ever get the PM I sent you?
Yes, I think so.
Oh, okay.
I think, yeah, I found that, but I had already seen this before I saw that.
Well, if you send me your email address, I can send you the information that will show you how to set that G-force setting on your Fioretti timer.
All right, let me see if I can. Well, let me work on figuring out how to do that on this. If I don't, I've got my Apple sitting here. I can make it work on that.
And we have a comment in the chat box from Jeff Riley. He says, click the like button. Thank you very much, Jeff. And he says, watching in stealth mode tonight, working on a hobby number 2, 124 scale slot car.
Oh.
Wow.
I didn't know those were still in existence. I've got a bunch
Is
of them
that,
from way
ask,
back
ask
when.
Jeff if, is that new equipment or is that vintage equipment that he's restoring or what's up?
Bound to be vintage.
You just asked him, so we'll find out. And Daniel Berry Sports Highlight says, "Yo, thank you, Daniel, for tuning in. Appreciate that."
Thanks, Frank. I got your thing in the mail.
Who's thanking me?
Gary.
Sorry? Oh, geez, I sent that a long time ago. You
Yeah, I forgot. I didn't get to tell you last time he was
Oh,
on.
you're welcome. And thank you, Stuart. I got your Snoopy today.
Okay,
Mhm.
good.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I only need $10 for those Canadian. So.
Yeah, I know. I figured to give you a little extra for the trouble you went through.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll receive mine tomorrow. I don't know, or maybe next week, but we'll see.
You're gonna get a surprise. You'll see.
I think my battery's dead in the keyboard.
So, Keith, can we see your beautiful big job?
It's all covered up with masking tape.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Well, we
Never
got
done that recently.
we have 18 people. You can still show it to us. Your progress, if you're up to it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like much, but now you see big glob of masking tape.
Oh,
got a real quick question for Denny. Denny, have you ever run into the situation on draft site that you can't move anything and you can't copy anything, you can't select more than one item at a time?
I've had a few odd things with that. I had some trouble with some existing drawings that I had imported in that certain parts of the drawing seemed to be untouchable. And I never did get around it. But yeah, the other thing I've noticed is that draft site, it doesn't like to be left open. All right, if I leave it like overnight or something like that, the next day, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. And I don't know why it, I don't know if that's a hardware or software issue, but I've had trouble like that too. So I usually try to focus on what I'm doing and be mindful of saving every couple of seconds and everything like that too. So I've lost too much work on that for the thing just freezing up on me. The last couple of editions have not been as good as what ever since I started paying for it, it seems worse. All right, so the free edition worked perfect.
Yeah, I'm having problems with it right now. And I guess I'm gonna have to get on the forum with the support forum, see if I can come up with somebody that knows what's going on.
Yeah.
I try to move something and it's just I can't move it. It winds up on the far nether reaches. I have to undo the command. I won't bore anybody else with any more on it. I just was curious whether or not you had any problems in that area.
Yeah, when I was working on the MOBES plan, which was the plan I was working on was done by Jeff Goodworth, Australia.
Goodworth,
He actually did the CAD work I was working on. And there was an area basically right around the leading edge of the wing that used to absolutely freeze up on me every time if I started touching it. So, trying to select multiple lines or anything like that. So
yeah. Okay.
Weird stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna get hold of the support line because.
And then, there's always the 3-finger salute, right? Reboot the computer and start over that way too.
Yeah.
I had trouble with my phone this week. I had to do that and just restarted it and then started working again.
Me too.
Yeah.
I guess $1,400 phones ain't what they used to be. So
no.
Well,
but did you ever in your wildest dream think that something that would fit in your shirt pocket would take up so much of your life, would know so much about you? I mean, think about it, your address book's on there, your phone book's on there, your all your dates, everything, you got the doctor's appointments, everything is on there, along with all your friends' phone numbers. Everything in the world is on the stupid telephone.
No, it's basically a computer in your pocket.
Well, it
Yeah.
is. There's more technology in that thing than landed man on the moon.
Sure.
Yeah.
I've got a buddy who's an aeronautical engineer at NASA, and he says that 2 Commodore 64s is what landed man on the moon. The technology was in 2 Commodore 64s, and one of them was a backup.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, Lord have mercy.
Amazing. I have a response, Dennis, from Jeff Riley. He says, some new old Palma Womps and FlexiCar 16D, but the new one is an Open Group 7 wing car.
What the heck are you talking about?
124
talking about slot
cars.
cars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know. I was speaking Greek there for a second. I know.
Yeah. My favorite one is an old chaparral.
We have a Paul Miller in the chat. He says, hello, guys. Hello, Paul. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate that. And we're up to 24 likes. So we've made some progress in that arena. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. We have a Steve in the gallery. I don't know, his camera's off. And all I have is his first name. So I don't know which Steve this is. Steve, you mind telling us who you are?
He's Steve.
His mic's muted, so he might have answered.
Oh, don't have a camera on this computer.
Okay,
Apparently,
well,
you just sent us a chat.
No problem, Steve. That's no problem.
Okay,
But
well,
your
just-
mic works, right? Oh, he's Steve.
Steve Smith from St. Louis.
Oh, hi, Steve.
My old judging buddy.
Yep.
Yo, Steve.
Steve.
Good guy.
Yeah, don't listen to what Mark's saying about you. All right, you're really a good guy. Don't listen to Mark. All right. So
Yep, love to judge, he said.
that's it.
He's back.
Hey, Steve, did we? I think I might have been a roommate with you at the Nats in 2019. I think.
Probably.
I think. Yes, yes, I was. Yeah, my Sparky kicked me to the curb and had me stay with Steve.
That's
And
not
then,
quite the way I remember it going, but okay.
And then Sparky and his friend Jordan,
John Jordan.
John Jordan. So those guys stayed together in their room, and then Steve and we had a great week. I enjoyed meeting Steve, and it was great experience.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Charles,
Yeah,
how many beds did you guys have?
2,
Good.
and some space between them too.
Mm.
Just making sure.
He
Yeah,
had a board down the middle of the one mattress. Oh, bundling.
Fun.
Oh, Lord.
I have a
Oh,
question
Lord.
from our chat box here. Paul Miller, he asks, how many of you guys built the shoestring scale? Question mark.
The Brodak one?
He didn't
Yeah, the
say.
Broda is there was, I think, is that Fred's buddy? He's looking for some help. He's apparently building the Brodak shoestring, and there's some information on it that I guess isn't clear in the instruction manual. And I only know 2 people who built that airplane, John Brodak and Sparky. And Sparky's video, he's got a great video series on it, but his video series is primarily finishing, not an awful lot on building stuff. So he wasn't able to get what he needed out of that. And he's looking for help somewhere.
And Paul said, yes, Brodak.
Okay.
Hey, Dennis,
Yes, sir.
were you aware that Buzz Brodak lost a son-in-law last couple of days?
No, I had
No.
not heard that.
Yeah,
No.
I think it
Sorry
was
to hear that.
is his daughter Jacqueline. Her husband died, and
That's
it's a shame.
Oh, It is a shame.
Apparently a terrific guy.
Mhm.
Um,
I don't know, they've been visited by a little too much of that kind of occurrence between the grandsons
there
and
is.
everything else.
Yeah.
So Steve Smith says we have a contest here in St. Louis, February 26th, the Isolated. Sparky started Isolated years ago, and it was on his birthday.
Oh, Charles, I got an email today. I'll just throw this out there. The King Orange dates, the first flyer that went out, the dates were wrong on it. So it's going to be October the 13th through the 15th.
Thank you. And then Steve Smith goes on to say, hey, Denny, are you running intermediate at the Nats this year?
The answer is probably. I have not heard from our fearless leader on that, and but I think he'll probably be asking me.
Can you run that and fly in it too, Dan?
Well, that's so I can't fly in it. So yeah, you're right. So. You know, they're talking, somebody asked me to run old time, and I said, I don't know anything about it.
Oh boy. Denny, you
I
gotta
thought I'd
watch
save
it,
you the
brother.
trouble, Mark.
Denny, you gotta watch it, brother. You got, you know, there's people watching. Lordy.
So Steve says, I'm actually going to fly it this year.
Right.
Let my fellow judges judge me for once.
That's
Yeah,
so
we're all
funny.
going to come down and judge you, Steve. All of us. We're all going to come down.
That's it. I heard a story. You guys, there's a guy named Bill Zimmer from Illinois. Famous, he used to judge everything in the Midwest, especially. He was a Nats judge many times. Well, one day he shows up at their local meet. He's going to fly. And it gets out on the circle. Everybody on the field got a clipboard and surrounded the circle to watch him fly. Was that perfect or what?
That's funny.
Yeah.
Poetic justice.
That really was. That really was.
That would get you.
10 judges in intermediate this year. That's right, Steve. So.
And Ruben McBride, actually, Steven's here. Stephen McBride is here, but his call name is Ruben, but that's probably his dad's computer or something.
Yep.
So how you doing, Steve?
Doing
Steven,
great.
I mean. Good, good.
Yeah. Got a good crowd on today.
Yeah, we have 19 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good crowd.
And one judge.
Yeah.
One judge.
One judge. Oh.
Well, no, we got more than one judge because Keith Trossel's judged. Philip Bailey is judged. You mean Nats judges or what?
I was just being facetious, you know.
Okay.
19 people and one judge.
Okay.
We got it, Bob.
We told Keith to get his airplane and we haven't asked him to show it off here.
Oh, thank you, Denny. Appreciate
Sorry.
that.
Okay.
All right,
first
make you
off-
big.
First off, the inspiration for my color scheme comes from Don Still when he was on the World Championships.
Oh, yeah.
With his Stuka stunt. This is from 1960. And so my last big job was basically this paint job, and my new one is getting the same thing. And here you see everything is all masked off. So it doesn't look like much. You've got the, under the mask is the white and the light blue is on, final coat, and I'll do the blue shading on the light blue tonight. And then markings this weekend and clear coat sometime next week. That's done.
Well, that's neat to see the aluminum foil. I haven't seen that. I know Wendy Nowski used aluminum foil.
It's real easy, and because it'll form around, you can wrap it around the unusual shapes, tape it down, and it stays put.
How do you keep it from putting marks on the paint though?
What?
I've had it put marks on the paint.
Well, if you take some 1,000 paper and it'll come right off.
Ah, okay.
You know what I've been using for masking? I've been using paper towels. You just take two of the half ones and fold them in half, and then just take the masking tape and run down the edge, and you can mask off the whole airplane with, a couple of minutes,
Good idea.
And
Wow.
you
Good
just
idea.
you can reuse it a couple of times, but then you throw it away.
That's why we come in here to listen to you guys, because some of you fellas have some really good ideas.
Absolutely.
So Keith, is that going to be the same paint scheme of the big job that you flew at Brodax in, I think, 2009?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. I just watched that video the other night, you flying up on the scale circle. Looked like you had solid lines. You fly those with solids?
I used to, and then I gave up on solid lines. It's too much risk. Too much. It take too much care and feeding.
Okay.
And there's, I think, too much risk with them.
Yeah. Is anybody flying with him?
I do.
Well, I'm thinking about using them again on both these airplanes because as long as they're in good shape, airplanes just fly better.
I agree.
Well,
you can,
I agree.
Of course, when we had the line size requirements, you can use thinner solids. You can use 12 solids where you would normally have to use 15 cables. Now it doesn't matter. If it passes the pull test, it passes the pull test. But I still like solids.
But I lost my last chiseler because it was a store-bought solids, and they broke right at the eyelet, where there was a kink in the way they wrapped the eyelet.
Wow. Well, I got a brand
You
new
use
pack of solids.
store-bought? Wow.
I got a brand new pack of solids, Keith. If you want them, I'll send them to you free of charge.
No, I've got 10,000 feet of solid wire.
All right.
Wow.
Here's
I
a
think I
question.
got
Go ahead, you guys.
Charlie
Sorry.
Reeves. I'll never use them. If anybody wants them.
What size are
Hey,
they?
Keith,
14s or
10,000
18s?
feet of wire, is that why we can't talk you into Spectra?
Paul, what size
Try
are
the
they?
Spectrum.
I'm intimidated still by tying the knots on those.
I can't read it.
It looks like it's 14,000s.
I'd like to have them.
My chiseler, I can use. I
I'll buy them
can
from you.
use 10s on my chiseler.
That's the ones I got from Wendy. I got piles of them. He gave me all his solids. I've got piles of them if anybody needs any. I'll never use them.
Tell you what I do need. What I do need, maybe somebody here has one for sale, willing to buy it. A 90 millimeter CAS handle. Don't all
90
jump in there at
millimeter.
once now.
90 millimeter. Which one, Bobby? He made two different versions.
The 90 millimeter.
No, now
Is
he
that
made
the
one
bigger
that's
or
got,
smaller?
The
He's
bigger
got-
one with the cable.
all right. I know bigger in cable, but he made one that's got a bar on the front of it, and he made one
No,
that's
without
just
no bar in the front.
okay. I'll look and see what I've got. I've got 2 or 3 of those.
I'll buy it. I'm looking at.
Oh, if I've got it, it's yours.
Hey, Phil, tell
Done
him you'll
too many
trade it
favors to
even
me.
for one of those Caprices, all right?
What's
That's
that?
a good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you. I
Hey,
hear you.
Steve Smith is asking if anybody besides me is using Spectra. I know there's one other guy here in the forum who is, but. I'm
I've
just
used it.
curious.
I like it.
I'm using it.
I've
I
tried
feel
it.
like I'm saying goodbye to my airplane every time I take off, but
Nah,
I'm not having any problems.
I've used it on everything right up to 76s, no problem.
Yeah, but they scared the crap out of me with all that, telling about the pull test, and then I did the pull test wrong because I pulled full deal on each wire.
Right.
But if you do it the 2 wires together and then you just pull it, if you do it right, it doesn't have a problem. But I did it wrong, and it scared me so bad I would not use it on my good airplanes. But I've tried it so many times now and not had any problem. That's what I'm using. I've got a brand new plane going out, I hope next weekend. I've been hoping it would go out for the last 3 weekends.
I tried it and it worked fine. I can't say there was anything wrong with it. The only thing I found is I had to open the handle spacing a little bit. You get the same response.
Open the handle spacing. Wow.
Yeah, in other words, make it more sensitive. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
right. make the handle more sensitive, right?
Yeah, I don't know why, but on both airplanes I put it on, I had to open the handle space, not a lot, but a little bit to get the same feel. But it flew fine. There was no issues with it whatsoever. I didn't feel, after doing the pull test, it's just as strong, if not stronger than the wire. So I it didn't scare me. Just I'll try it again. I mean, I'll go back to it and put some more time on it. But right now I have these 12 solids and they work so well for me. That's what I'm going to have, both the Usama and the Caprice. I'm taking the Usama along as the backup airplane, or maybe the Caprice will be the backup airplane. But I want 2 sets of lines adjusted with handles for each one, just in case, as Keith said, something happens in the pits and somebody steps on them. I want to be able to go to another set of lines on the same handle and same handle setting right away.
Well, there's one beauty to that, Bobby. If they step on the Spectra, it doesn't hurt a thing.
I understand that, but I just like in the classic. I just like these solids. They just have always worked well for me. And
Bob, if you showed up at a contest with anything but solids, I'd be stunned.
yeah, well, that's how everybody pretty much feels.
I have a question from Steve.
The line sparkled in the sunshine,
Yeah, it's
Bob's always, I always thought he was gutsy, but everything I've ever seen him fly in competition's been on solids and it's always flies well. So how do you argue with that?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Well, this past year, I flew the Crossfire. I actually had Dave Fitzgerald come in and he borrowed it and we both flew at a contest in Flushing. And I had the Spectra on it, or not Spectra, but the Fins 4G. And I didn't know if David would feel comfortable with that. So I put it onto those Ruslan Kurenkov, the Ukrainian lines.
Right.
And it worked fine.
I like those lines too. Those Ukrainian lines are nice too.
They're good.
Yeah.
I have a question from Steve Smith. He says, he's asking, is the key the knots? This is regarding the Spectra, I'm sure.
One of them.
Well,
That's one of the keys, yes.
You want the double because you get that closer to being the same length.
Yeah. As long as you remember to put a mark on it and go by the marks, they got to be the right size.
Yeah.
It just works every time.
And we have a question from Paul Miller. He says, there is a swap meet next month in Eastern PA, Lebanon. Anyone here going? Oh, Mark's going. And so is Dan Banjak.
Yep.
And Frank.
And Frank, you going, Frank?
Oh yeah. I've only missed one in 34 years.
Wow.
Wow.
Very excellent.
I'm
Just curious, are you a buyer or a seller?
What'd you say, Keith? Are you out of here, Keith?
Yeah, I'm out of here.
All right. Hey, thanks for coming in, Keith. I'll see you next time.
Hi, Keith.
See you, Keith.
See you in Tucson, Keith.
Yeah, we'll see you in Tucson.
He's going to go build on
He
his
did
plane.
say he was going to get shoot that shady blue on yet tonight. So the foggy blue. So I bet that's what he's off to do.
Yeah.
Hey, Phil, did you see my message?
No, I didn't. Wait a minute. Oh. Yeah, I see it now. Okay. Write that down.
And Paul Miller, he says, cool, I hope to see you there. And then from Steve, he goes, Mark, any more details on the Pampa banquet at the Nats? Yeah, earlier in the show, Mark, he gave us an update on it. It's in the very early part of the show. If you want to go back and check it out, Steve.
It's Sunday night at Ball State.
Yep.
Anybody else have anything to share as far as what they've been doing, flying or in the shop? What do you got there? You made a reel there.
Oh, look at that!
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
Let me look at that. Oh, very cool.
3D printed and reeled, made up a set of lines today, and then made a label for the case.
Wow.
Well, that's neat.
Boy,
That
a
is
case
neat.
and all. Look at that. Wow.
I like
Very
that.
Paul, you
nice.
get started with this, you're gonna have us all wanting them.
Now, is that off the Thingiverse, that file?
Yeah, this is on Thingiverse, and then this was with the Cricut vinyl cutter.
So if you use that case, you can't leave the handle hooked up to it. Is that right?
I don't.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
See,
I
all
mean,
my-
I store them all in my white box like that. I leave the ends on there. I leave like one end on the handle and one end
Yeah.
free on the
That
line.
makes sense. Yeah.
Because if I left the handle on there and put it in the truck, I'd slam it in the door or something. So
Okay.
Now, what handles do you use, Paul?
it just depends on the plane. I'm trying to I guess work up the nerve to go to a hard point handle. I've got a 3D file for that, kind of like what Howard's doing, but I'm usually either flying a Tom Morse handle or a Windy handle.
What I did is I made up a windy hard point handle. So I took the outline of the windy handle and made it into a hard point, and it worked really good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'll grab it. Hang on.
You know, this is the longest I've ever gone in the presence of Danny Banjock without hearing him laugh.
Yeah, very good.
Come on, Danny, give us a Danny laugh.
Sorry.
He didn't have a plane in his hand. That's what the deal is.
Yeah.
Frank, Donald.
Yes.
And he goes, there's a Danny laugh. Very good. Paul Miller asked if you all could, who's going to the swap meet, could wave. He maybe missed that. Would you please wave if you're going to the swap meet out there in eastern Pennsylvania? So that's Dan Banjock, and Frank. There was 3, right? Wasn't there 3 going?
Mark.
Oh, and Mark. All right, so he'll look for you guys. And he goes, I feel like you're all movie stars being on TV.
Yeah. 2 years ago at that Lebanon flea market, I bought a brand new in the box Walter Umland 660 stiletto.
Wow, nice.
Cool.
$100.
Wow.
You might not get it for that today.
You're not getting that today.
Not selling it.
110?
Hey, Denny, I heard
11.
I heard something about you that I think I should spread here.
Oh, geez.
And that is when the Stregas came out, you went into the hobby shop and you stole all the light wood out of them.
You telling me?
And
there
I
was
went
light wood in
home
some of
with
them?
absolutely no wood in my car.
There's a famous picture.
That
Yeah,
is
it is a
sure
famous
is.
picture. Yeah,
Sure is.
and he's going to be at the banquet.
That's super.
nice.
That's great.
Thank you,
Good to
Bob.
See him again.
You want to see another Les McDonald picture?
Yes, please.
Sure.
Where did it go?
Les McDonald will kill me if he knows that I actually showed you this picture. Maybe I shouldn't show it.
Go ahead. You can trust us.
Okay.
Sure. We won't
Ready?
see Bob on here again. He's going to be dead after tonight.
Oh, very cool.
Oh.
He's just checking out the props. It's probably hot in there.
Man is dedicated.
I got a lot of blackmail photos.
You do.
And you just put them on YouTube. Way to go.
Yeah.
Hey, did you guys see the Les McDonald trading card on Stunthangar?
Yeah, that was neat, wasn't it?
That was very cool.
Yeah, I think there's a whole bunch of them. Somebody on Facebook posted a vending machine, and there was like several control line
Yeah,
models there.
That's my favorite Les McDonald airplane.
Wow.
Showing,
I remember that when he brought it to Winston. That was the biggest sucker I'd ever seen.
yeah, the 75 airplane.
Yeah.
Why that prop looks so small?
Yeah,
Yeah, rev up.
Well, that was a 46. and it
Tiger
was a
46. Yeah.
Tiger 46, and it was a biggest stunner we'd ever seen. It was great. And all anybody could talk about was, if you think that's big, you should see the Sea Fury, Al Raby Sea Fury. I thought, well, I've never seen it. I've seen that, and it was huge.
700.
Here's another Les McDonald picture. Ready for this one? This is
Say, Bob, what year was that picture taken?
75.
75, yeah.
Oh,
That's
cool.
here in North Carolina.
Yep.
I know where that picture was taken.
Yep.
Tail of the Dragon.
Yeah. Been there a few
Nice.
times myself.
Poco, North Carolina. Yeah.
There seems to be a connection between bike riding and stunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No wonder
Absolutely.
I'm no good at stunt. I don't ride a bike.
I've
Never
seen you
did.
fly, buddy. You can't fly. You can't pull that
And-
crap on me. I've seen you
And playing
fly.
instruments too. There's instruments and
Thanks, Phil.
motorcycles.
Yeah.
Instruments too. There are a lot of good pilots that are musicians as well.
The only thing I play that has music is a radio.
The piano players, yeah.
I can't play anything. I couldn't play a thing. My whole family's into music and I can't play anything. No, just a zero when it comes to music. My whole family's heavily into music, always was. Not me. Somewhere I was the oddball.
This is couple of my bikes here.
All right.
Oh, nice.
Abusa.
Got a K12 LT custom.
I love the look of bikes, but I would never get on one.
Well, you're smart.
I've ridden a lot.
There's only
I
two
don't
kinds of
do any-
motorcyclists. Two kinds of motorcyclists. Those that have gone down and those that are going down.
Oh,
I guarantee you. By the time you think you won't do it, that's exactly when it bites you.
You bet.
You know how to tell a happy motorcyclist, though.
By the bugs on his teeth.
Bugs in his teeth? Yeah.
You know the difference between a Harley Davidson and a Hoover vacuum cleaner? On a Hoover, the dirt bag's on the inside.
Oh,
Now I'm really in trouble.
oh, Lord. I would never have said that on a before.
On the inside.
You know what a Harley Davidson rider says when he passes a Japanese sport bike? No one knows. It's never happened.
Wow.
Oh,
Oh,
Oh, that's bad.
oh,
I'm gonna get whomped by all the Harley guys now.
I almost lost my son on a bullet bike. I was in Whittier Narrows at a contest, get a phone call down there. And my son had run a stop sign when he got off work. No helmet, hit a car broadside, knocked him about 75 feet. And
T-boned it.
steal a utility pole.
Wow.
Oh, God.
And anyway, I was going to leave right then. And my wife says, no, there's nothing to do. He's in a coma. So finish your flight. And I was up next. So I flew my Colossus, loaded up and drove back, got back into Salt Lake at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
I remember that.
Oh, man.
And it took him quite a while to recover. When you look at something, he says, one eye would look at a window frame straight and the other one look at it at a 40-degree angle. So he was getting sick all the time because it made him sick doing that, looking at stuff.
Right.
So they end up having to put a patch on it on the one eye until the other one straightened out.
Wow.
Good old Honda. So there's why it's so hard for that Japanese sport bike to pass that Harley.
tell you, that was a pretty good handling bike for its size. It was all right. You know.
Yeah.
Very
Very
nice.
nice. Let me welcome.
I went to Woodstock on a motorcycle.
You
Oh,
did.
Lord.
The Woodstock.
I finally figured out where I was when Woodstock, when I was up in Alaska fishing a Kodiak.
I was raised in a family.
What year was that? What year was Woodstock? Wasn't it about
69.
69. I just got out of the Army.
I was still in high school.
I was just out of the Army.
Oh, here comes the plane.
Uh-oh, here we go. Paul, I am trying to send you a message.
going,
but
Charles.
Every time I get it about
Thank you.
2/3 through, it
That
disappears.
prop didn't get moving very well, though, Charlie.
It hasn't. As foot gets in the way. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Let me welcome Ed Carlisle. Thanks for coming in, Ed. How you doing?
Hi, Ed.
Better. I've been having some health issues, so feel better now.
Good. So you're back to work on airplanes? Have you done any work on any?
I got a Vampire and a Squall on the building board right now. I finally did get the Super Clown straightened out before I stopped. We flew up until just before Christmas, and that's when I had my health issues. So I haven't done much build. I tinker with a little while till I get tired, and next day I'll start on again. So it's coming, but it's coming slow.
Just keep getting better. That's the key.
It's funny. It's not funny, but it is now. I got an ear infection, and I went into my ear, infected by the nerve in my inner ear, and it made a condition where I was constantly in a vertigo situation. So it went on for I don't know, almost the end of January, and I got back from the specialist today, and he said things look good, and so
good.
takes time, he said. So
That's all you need is vertigo when you're trying to fly a control line.
Yeah, and I asked him today whether if I went back to flying, whether it was going to trigger anything, and he didn't seem to think so. So that's a good thing for me.
Well, that's good.
Go ahead, Gordon.
I just want to say hi to Dan Benchek. I haven't seen him since I was at the Nats.
Oh,
And how you doing, Dan?
good. How are you doing?
Good. Anyway, I've got to check out. My daughter-in-law's come to spend the night here, so I've got to get things ready for her in a few minutes.
All right. Well, thanks for coming in, Gordon. I'm glad you're feeling better.
Yep. Take care, Gordon.
Gordon?
Everybody,
Good night, Gordon.
Gordy, you want that?
what's that?
Hey,
You want that Vico?
Which one is it?
35. I showed pictures of it.
Oh. Yeah, I wouldn't mind having that.
Okay. You can go now.
Okay.
Here's what you're gonna love. Here's what you're gonna love. Ready for this one? Danny's gonna love this one.
oh, wow. Look at that.
Wow.
That was Danny's first contest.
Wow.
That's Robbie.
Oh, that's right.
And it was Robbie's first contest. Danny took first and Robbie took second.
Wow.
Very cool. Nice Geeski Nobler looks like too.
Yeah.
And what is Robbie flying? What is that?
That's a whole shot.
A whole shot. Okay.
Early whole shot. Yeah.
Very nice.
Robbie was 12, I think.
Very cool.
Wow.
Danny was
That was cool.
Danny was about 14.
What's all that stuff on the ground there? Is that
Oil.
That's the circle burners runway. That's a lot of years of residue. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Castro Road gets that way.
Bill's no longer there.
Oh my God, that was
But
great.
you like that, Danny?
Yeah, that was cool.
Remember that airplane of yours was loud and it vibrated like a son of a gun.
I know. I was great.
Well, thanks for showing that picture. That showed a lot of great memories from that place.
Oh man, yeah. You bet. I got a
You
lot
got
of
that handle in?
memories from that field.
Yep.
One of my favorite memories from the Garden State Circle Burner field was in 1970. Gene Schaefer, I've told this story here before, but for those who haven't heard it, Gene Schaefer built what was ostensibly the first stunt machine. He never named his airplanes. He didn't even name the stunt machine. It was named by Don McGovern when he published it in Flying Models. He had to have a name. So he had this twin rudder stunt ship that he designed in '69, which makes it legal for classic the way the rules are written. But he didn't build it, he didn't fly it until 1970. When he brought it out, he used it at the 1970 Nationals. But he brought it out to the Circle Burner field and he set it on the field, and it had a big USA on the left wing and a big AMA on the right wing. And Bill Simons walked up and he's looking at it. He says, "What the heck's an USA AMA?"
Mhm.
And Gene said, "What are you talking about?" He says, "The name on your airplane." He says, "No name on my airplane." He says, USA AMA, USA AMA. And it stuck. And Gene hated it.
I think it's a cool name.
I do too. I think
Yeah.
that's neat.
USA AMA.
So Len, do you have the handle?
Yes, I do.
You make you big, Lynn, 1 second.
Yeah. So there it is. It's basically the same as a Fancher handle, but it's the same shape as a Windy handle. I just like the shape a little better, that's all, than the Fancher handle.
And
Wow.
it's different because it's a little fatter through the middle then, or what?
Yeah, the Fancher handle's a little fatter, like the actual grip part is a little wider. The Windy one's a little narrower, so it's a little
Okay.
smaller. It feels better in my hand for whatever reason.
So
Now, are
can
your
you
legs
adjust those arms?
adjustable? I mean, the arms?
The
can they go out?
legs are not adjustable. I
Okay.
adjust the size of the clip with the Jim Lee clip bender. So in other words, if I need a 30-second more, I make a clip that's a 32nd or a 16th bigger until I get the clips the exact size I need. Now
I
this
do the
has
same thing.
the spectral lines with the knots, and I always put these rubber. I use bladder material on top of the clip so that there's no way anything can slide off the edge of the clip or anything like that.
It's a great idea. Thanks for reminding me.
Okay, because if you don't have them, all it takes is that clip to go back in the handle if the lines go slack on a wing over or something like that. And then you just shortened your upline by an inch or an inch
Right.
and change. Guess what it's going to do? As soon as you go to pull out, it's going to start looping all by itself.
Right. So you
And
do that
so-
hose on the other end as well, on the lead outs?
Yeah. I'd put it on the lead outs as well. Actually, no, I don't put it on the lead outs. And the reason I don't put it on the lead outs is I use a different style of clip. I don't use these kind of I don't use the Jim Lee type of clip. I use the regular slide type clips.
Looks on.
So they can't go anywhere.
Okay. Very cool.
I'm
Just to,
considering, this year, I'm considering.
There
I'm
we
gonna
go.
be-
There it is.
There we go, yeah.
USA AMA.
That's the actual USA AMA. That's Gene's airplane.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And still in that shape too. It was the friend of Gene's. Gene gave it to a friend of his, Ray Borden. Ray. I forgot the guy's last name. Ray something. Anyway, his wife had it, and when I built mine, I borrowed it. I went over to Lampione's house, and he had arranged for me to go over and pick up this from the guy's wife, and borrowed it for a couple of weeks, and I measured it and made plans for it. And we published it in Pampa.
Look at the angle of that gear.
Yeah, it's really swept in
Wow.
dramatically. Yeah,
That's huge.
That'll take up a lot of the shot.
and the Circle Burner fans here, the gentleman was saying like seeing the Circle Burner field. Well, here's a picture at the Circle Burner field with me with my USA AMA, reload the battery, and there's Mike Ostella helping.
Circle two.
That's the Circle Burner field there.
Circle
Very
two.
nice. Yeah, I've seen videos from Windy, that field.
Yeah,
That was a great site.
it really was.
It was a nice
I remember
project.
going there. Back in 69, 68, 69, and 67, 68, 69. And there was a limited amount of parking there, always was. But when you went to a contest, we used to go to Rich's Hobby Town, which was a few miles away, and practice in the morning and then go to the field to fly in the contest. And if you got there after 6:30 in the morning, you had to park like half a mile away and walk back to the field. There were that many cars.
You
There was
parked
like
on the street all the way
hundreds-
down, almost all the way
hundreds
to
of
the
people.
golf course.
Huh?
Parked on the street almost all the way down to the golf course.
Yeah, almost all down to the golf course and walk back with all your equipment because there were so many people there.
Yep.
Wow.
Now I know how y'all got so good with one airplane. You couldn't take 2 or 3 airplanes to the field.
True. You could. There were so many airplanes on the field, you almost couldn't walk around. There were so many airplanes.
And
One day, Bill Simons had built a Charlie Lickleader Ballerina 2, and the I-beam, and they had it out on the field, and the guys decided to go out and get lunch, and he left it on the field, and a thunderstorm came along with hail and just peppered that airplane. It just destroyed it.
Oh,
if you got a spot in the parking lot, you were stuck there for a day on a contest. You weren't moving.
Yeah.
The way the park was back, one back in front of the other.
It was some field. A lot of memories.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Dan Banjock, do you have John Lytle?
Oh, yeah.
He says hi, Danny. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. How's it going?
He'll probably respond back. Yeah, John Lytle watches a lot, but he doesn't come in the chat box a lot, so he definitely wanted to reach out to you. So that's great.
Hi, John.
Howdy, hi again.
At Circle Runner Club, that was a very, very active club at that time. They had over 40 some members at that time.
That was great.
Good turnout, really good setup.
Frank, it says something went wrong. Please try again later.
What, on that email I sent you?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll resend it.
Thank you.
Mark, do you have Frank Donnelly's email? I know I didn't provide that for you through.
Yeah, I need that.
Frank, in the
Phil, you have
art
the
chat,
painting with it?
can you give Mark your email? He wants to reach out to everyone to try to catalog where we know where to get some stuff at to help the hobby.
Yeah, I'll give it to you, Mark.
Okay, thanks.
You get anything painted, Phil?
No, I didn't. I've been working on a bunch of stuff and was trying to paint, but we had one day that was gorgeous, and I had other things I had to do. And the next day it just blew too hard, and then it's rained ever since. So we're hoping to get a good day tomorrow, but the plan is to meet at the restaurant and have lunch at 11:30 and then go flying after that, if the field's dry enough to walk on it. Because Hobby Park is not slanted a whole lot, and when it rains a lot, and it becomes a real mush factory. Center of the field, from the asphalt to the concrete. Our circle is asphalt, but then it's grass and then a concrete center in it. And the walk from the field, from the circle to where you stand to fly, the center, is sometimes inch deep in water.
Wow.
And it's a mess. And we still don't, Bob, you remember the upper circle was grass. We still don't have that back. It's still covered in piles of dirt, where the recreation department brought dirt in there, went to the wrong part, and dropped it in the wrong place. They tell us that we're going to have our upper circle is going to be AstroTurf when they do phase 3 of the park upgrades. Of course, they forgot to tell us what year that's going to be, because we've been waiting 5 now. And we haven't been able to fly anything without a gear for 5 years. And the rule here is, if you fly anywhere but Hobby Park, since they gave us a park to fly at, if we fly a control line model airplane anywhere but Hobby Park, they can confiscate the airplane, your flight gear, and the car you brought it in.
Damn. Yeah,
What?
serious.
So I've never heard of them doing it, but they can. Now I got fussed at one time for flying at Philo Junior High School, but the science teacher came out and said, wait a minute. He's here to fly for my students. I asked him. So I got through it that way, but I'm telling you, it's weird. In 5 years, we've been waiting. Now they've updated the Soapbox Derby hill, but there's no Soapbox Derby races there. You do the math.
Wow. I have a comment from T-Bone 1260, or excuse me, the T-Bone 1260. That's Tom Luciano. He says, one field better than circle burners. That was the UMAC field, aka ENSA.
Union Model Airplane Club field. Yep. That's where I grew up. Well, before I got older, I never grew up. Here's one from the circle. This is Circle Burners Field, the Snowbird meet. How many of those people can you identify?
John DeOttavio.
Yeah.
Well, John was a young fellow there.
Bill Simons, Gene Schaefer, and I think Eddie Elastic.
Eddie Elastic, yeah.
Oh, is that Andy Lee?
No.
I'm close though.
It's Moses Quintana.
Yes.
And John DeTavio and Tommy Niebuhr.
Oh wow.
That Impala looks pretty. I wish that was a color picture. That Impala looks really pretty.
Yeah, that was brown and cream. He had a green one too.
Hey, is Mark Gerber still here?
Yeah.
Send him your picture, Bob.
That'll colorize it.
What's that?
He's had some fantastic luck with his colorizations software.
Oh yeah.
Let him give him the highest res you got on that and see what he can do with it.
Unfortunately, that is the highest. I only have one shot. Somebody, I think.
Okay,
Tommy
well,
Niebuhr
send it to him and see what he can. You might be surprised.
Yeah.
Was that John?
To me. All right. So.
Was that John DeTavio in the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Falcon.
Oh, Moses Quintana, that was the Thor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is before the Thor. He had a number of airliner-looking airplanes. They looked like jet airliners. The Thor was the one that was the best one for him, though. Yeah. He was an amazing pilot. He flew clockwise, and he was a Golden Gloves boxer. That's why he never really made it in stunt, because he went into boxing and I guess coaching after that. He never, he made it in stunt. He was a very good flyer, but he never continued on into the open years. He was a great senior flyer. Won a lot of contests. Very
Bill, I
good.
said that.
I've heard the numbers on that Thor were pretty decent.
Yeah. Had a slightly swept back trailing edge, very slightly swept back. Tricycle landing gear. It was a good airplane.
Yeah, it's kind of odd looking, but it flew like crazy. You've had it to 65 nationals, first nationals I ever went to.
Yeah.
And yeah, darn good. I think he was a top 10 place. He was like sixth or
Good
something.
flyer.
Wasn't
He flew with Bill Suarez.
he? Okay.
Everybody's.
Here's another picture from the snow.
Let me make you big. 1 second here. Let me catch it up.
Yep.
There you go.
There you go.
Who's there?
That's my dad, Ruben, and Richie Woznicki, and I don't know who the other guy is. That I don't remember. My father doesn't remember who that was.
Wow.
Wow, amazing.
And this is a snowbird meet. This is before my time. I wasn't around yet. 1967. 67?
Yep.
Wow. Hey, Ruben, I heard your voice in the background.
Yeah, how you doing, Charles?
Doing well, man, and glad to hear your voice.
Okay, you can take me out of break. Thank you.
All righty. You're welcome. Hey, Steve Hines in the house.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, Dan,
Hey, Steve, say hi to Sammy for me, huh?
if I would have known,
There it is.
if
What is
I
this,
would
the
have known if you would have been on, I would have got a hold of her earlier and had her get on, but she's probably sleeping by now.
All right.
Very good, Denny.
Wow, that's nice.
What was the advantage or disadvantage of the swept to the rear on the trailing edge there?
I have no idea.
Huh.
Maybe just get more leading edge sweep and maintain the amount of area he wanted. I don't know.
Yeah.
Give it a jet look. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
That
It
rudder
sure
looks
cornered.
funny to me. That rudder looks funny.
It cornered like a son of a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Or, Ferguson built one of those. Yeah.
Thought there was another decent picture of it, but
That's John Misk holding it.
Wow.
Heck of a nice guy.
I know Jim Rhodes talked about building one of those. He evidently saw the original fly at the Nats or something or other, and he thought he's very impressed with it.
Somebody brought one to VSC 20 years ago or so.
Yeah, there was one at VSC.
But I don't remember who it was.
I don't either, but I remember seeing it. Great airplane, great guy. Mhm. And that photo of him starting it, that was John Misk holding it.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Wonder what Moses is doing these days.
But that,
Garden State.
Say, I wonder what Moses Quintana is doing these days.
he actually showed up in a contest a few years back, just to spectate, and he seemed like he was doing well. You know.
That's good. Hey, Steve. Steve Smith said, "Thanks for memories, guys." He was leaving, so
Good, Steve.
I think Steve Smith's already gone,
Okay.
but he appreciated it. These memories are pretty nice.
Yeah.
Hey, Bob, Jeff said to tell you hello.
Who did?
Truxler.
Oh yeah, how's he doing?
Real good. He's doing really good. So
I like tracks. Yeah.
yeah.
Good guy.
When he lets me, I'll take some pictures and show you this guitar that he's building. It's a electric hollow body.
Yeah.
It'll remind you kind of that little bluegrass instrument that they
Dulcimer?
play. No, it's
Mandolin.
mandolin.
Yeah.
It has a completely carved top like a mandolin.
Yeah. The scroll head.
It has a scroll head up on it. It
Yeah.
is one of the neatest guitars I've ever seen in my life, but he doesn't want no one to see it until it's done or whatever. But yeah, we tested some catalyzed lacquer. I don't know if anybody has ever used that before. Any catalyzed lacquer, but we're trying to find it in full gloss, and that's the problem right now. But it's supposed to be more chemical resistant and stuff for people who still are into nitro models.
Tell them
And
to check a high-end furniture supply store.
I checked all of them. I used to work at a high-end furniture store manufacturer.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
And that was one of the things that Guardsman invented, was that catalyzed lacquer. And it does it. You know how if you put a cup on a lacquer table, it'll get a white circle?
This won't do it. That won't do it.
The catalyzed doesn't do it because it's kind of like a polyurethane. So with a poly molecule, it's moisture cured, and that makes it hard, so it doesn't absorb water or something. I don't know. But we're trying to work on that. So we did Samantha's. We got the first coat of Samantha's guitar coated with a satin.
Second place.
And it's working out really super good. If we get it in a clear, then we're going to try that. We found one place where a guy can get it from Sherwin-Williams. He lives there in North Carolina, so he must have in there in High Point, I would think, and because that's the old Guardsman factory that Sherwin-Williams bought out.
Mhm.
And but to get it, we have to get it in a cork. He has to buy it in 5 gallons at a time.
Wow.
Wow.
And catalyze it. But with shipping and stuff, he wants like $44 a quart. But we got a gallon of this other stuff for $60.
Well, that's cheap. The paint I just put on the Caprice was $400 a quart.
Yeah,
Whoa.
and I'm thinking that this stuff is going to work as good or better than what, because it's kind of a 2-part, but it's more of with that poly molecule in it or whatever, how they put that in there. So that's what makes it catalyze, is moisture catalyzes it. You leave out something in the catalyst or something, and when the moisture mixes with it, then it can do its chemical reaction to it. But I mean, it didn't have to be cut to spray, and it laid down so smooth. It's just hard to believe. It's the first time Jeff ever used it, and he's like, man, I can't believe it.
We were talking about Moses Quintana before. I just found another photo of one of his airplanes.
No, what plane is that?
Zeus.
Oh, very neat.
Yeah.
Wow, nice lines.
Yeah, it takes after one of Ron Pavlower's airplanes. The guys from Long Island used to build airplanes that look like that. Ron Pavlower was the guy who designed the that biplane. What's the name of the thing that does
Adam?
The bislab.
The bislab.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, so that guy designed airplanes that look a lot like this.
Wow, it's a nice looking plane.
Yeah.
Did it have any taper on the leading edge? It looks like a boxcar wing.
Very little. Very little. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, pretty cool to see those things.
Steve, that catalyzed lacquer you're talking about, I used some of that to spray a bamboo fly rod for a fella. It was going to put it in a contest last year, and it sprayed and laid down so flat, it was beautiful. But it added, I'm bad. I weigh even a fly rod before I shoot it and afterwards. And that stuff's heavy. Be careful with it. Well, you're doing a guitar, it won't matter.
Another picture here from the circle burner field in 1967. This is just before I went in the Army.
Ooh, that's
my!
pretty.
All right.
That's the original Caprice.
That is pretty.
67. That's the first year I flew control line.
Yeah, that's at the circle burner field. This is when they had the parking lot on the far side of the field. It was a large parking lot on the far side, which got overgrown eventually, but that was taken in that parking lot right after senior stunt that year. So I flew against Don Cosmillo that day.
Oh, we know who won that day.
Yeah. Well,
she's prettier than you probably was.
By far.
Yeah, the judges couldn't even see the maneuvers. They're probably just checking her out, right? So
This is awful. We used to say she always won by 2 points.
Yeah.
But to be fair, she was a really nice girl. She was very friendly, and she was very talented flyer. She took it serious, and she flew well. There was no and you know she was just one of the guys, you know. So
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, we're going to be wrapping the show up in a few minutes. I want to thank everybody for coming in. And looks like we've had as many watching us. Of course, we're going to get lots of replays, but we had as many as 29 people watching us at one time, and we have 29 likes. So thank you very much. Appreciate that. And we had some activity in the chat box, and really good show. Appreciate everyone coming in. And thanks, Dan Banjock, for coming in. That was great. You coming in. Appreciate that. And what he's showing there, looks like a nice plane there too. What is that?
That's a snowbird meet. That's Eddie Elastic launching John DeTavio's Blue Falcon.
Yeah, I recognize John DeTavio because he's bending over, but his legs aren't straight. They're bent a little bit.
And that's Eddie Elastic, and that's the snowbird meet at Circle Burners, 1964. And that's Moses Quintana Watt looking on.
Wow.
Yeah, neat stuff.
Yeah,
That
one of
is
those pretty
neat.
old control boxes y'all used to have. I don't know if a lot of you know about it, but those guys, Bobby and a bunch of those guys back in the
What do you
early
got there,
70s.
Stephen? You got to unmute yourself, Stephen. Golden State Circle Burner.
Look at that. Look at that.
How about that?
Number 27,
1964.
Now look at how it says in stunt that with Eddie Elastic, it was junior, senior combined, and then open.
Yep.
Yeah, there was no
$1 entry
advance.
fee. Oh my God.
Registration 50 cents. Yeah.
And they had the best trophies anywhere. Huge trophies.
Big trophies.
Big trophies.
Wow.
Cool.
Now let me show you another one here. It was back in 1983 at the Nats at Chesapeake, Massachusetts. I
Yeah.
won second place in scale on that.
Wow.
Oh, very good. Look at you.
Look at that.
Oh, we can barely see you, but that's cool.
10 years old. The plane above it was Julie Abel who beat me.
Huh?
Wow.
That's cool.
When I did that, they ended up getting a report to that. So that became from the Circle Burners here. And this is called The Record, a local newspaper called
Yeah,
The
Bergen
Record.
Record.
Oh, that is so
Bergen
cool,
Record.
Steve. Oh, that's
Now,
cool.
George Gates is up on top, and they took a picture of my father and myself down here. That was my first scale airplane, which was a F6F Hellcat.
Yeah.
Oh, that is very cool.
The Bergen Record.
Yeah, Bergen Record that was there. They decided to put an article in from that. Then Bill Boss put it in. Same thing in '93.
Wow.
Very
But
neat.
that was the year when, if you remember, Bob, we used to have the dinner dances.
Yeah, sure.
And when we went to the dinner dance, I actually won all 3 trophies that year for the most points award. And they put that into there. And Bill Boss took that with all my awards that I had, which are sitting right there. In front of the
Were you at the dinner dance the year that we had Billy Wertwich come and play music for us?
What year would that be?
Oh, it's 91.
Probably I went to all of them ever since I was in the hobby.
Someplace in there, 90, 91.
Up to that point.
Anyway. All right.
You guys remember the Intrepid that I gave away at the last
Yes.
conference, the white one?
Yeah.
That's the way it originally looked.
Oh, that looks nice.
That's the way it originally looked. Now it's white. But that's what I have to show. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Very
Well,
cool.
great. Well, we're now at 9:01 or 12:01 back east.
All right.
Again, thank you so much, everybody, for coming in. Appreciate it. Now, we're just ending the live stream, so don't feel you have to go. If you want to go, that's fine, but we're going to hang out. We're just going to end the live stream portion of the show. So, well, that's it on the live part. Good night.